Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Politically Unfiltered once again. And this morning, it's going to be a follow-up to yesterday's video about the collapsed trade deal with Canada. And I had found some more very interesting information. And it would take a long time to go through all of the information, because there was this woman that I stumbled on. She has I've never seen her before, but her headline was about this and about this topic. And of course it caught my eye, and I'm like, well, I've never heard her before. Why don't we give her a listen and see what she says? So I took the transcripts from her video and told Grok to make it concise so it ain't really long. And here it is. And I'm going to read it to you. And you wait till you hear this stuff. This is quite interesting. But it's basically saying, Canada walked out of trade talks with the United States at 1 minute to midnight Friday. Mark Carney then told reporters, "We're attacked. You're at war when you get attacked." And we got attacked. Julian Assange posted that Carney did it to influence the U.S. midterms and help Democrats take Congress. He's partly right, but the real story goes even deeper. This was never just about the tariffs. Canada banned American wine and spirits, limited autos, restricted dairy. Now, after a year of talks, the U.S. offered Canada the best access of any country, but Carney still walked away. Why? Because Canada cannot win a real trade war. 72% of Canadian goods go to the United States. Quebec's refineries depend on oil pipelines that run through Michigan. I never knew that. I never knew it at all. Carney's job is bigger than Canada. He's protecting the old globalist system against Trump's American system. He's built a team aimed straight at U.S. voters, Democratic operatives, Freeland's donut strategy to go around the White House, jolly meeting mostly Democrats. Did I say jolly? It's Dolly. No, it's Jolly, J-O-L-Y. The goal is simple. Create enough economic pain and noise before the midterms so Americans can turn on Trump. Scott Bessent at the Treasury is fighting the quieter war, keeping the yen, carry trade, and treasury markets from blowing up. That's the fight Carney hopes you never notice. Two systems, one war, and Canada just chose sides. Now that adds a whole different realm, because as usual, when you turn on the mainstream media, who's right in bed with Carney and his Democrat friends here in America, that's telling him what to do, I guarantee you that's what's going on. Can't prove it, but I guarantee you, because in that video, he had connections way before he ever became this prime minister in Canada. He had connections with our Democrat Party. That I'm going to have to do more research to get more information on. I don't know everything. I just know that little bit. And the part about the pipeline, right now, I think I can remember how it went. In Alberta, Canada has where they get oil. Then when they extract the oil, they put it right into a refinery that's there at Alberta. It's all right in one little area. I mean, it's quite a little setup by the sounds of it, if I'm understanding that correctly. And then all of that oil has to go from Alberta, which is like way over on the west coast of the country, and they got to get it all the way back to Ottawa and another one, I can't think of the name, but basically they got to get it all the way from the west of Canada back over to East Canada. And the only way that they could do it, because there's this big gap in between east and west of just rough terrain, mountains and rock and forest, and just everything is so, it's had to get a pipeline through there. So they had to run pipelines from Alberta down into Michigan, through Michigan, and then back up this other pipeline. I can't remember the name of it. Pipeline 5, and then it's not Eldridge, but something like that. I can't remember the name now. I'm terrible with remembering names. I'm awful. And anyways, then it pumps it back up into eastern Canada. So just on that alone, now stop and think about it. Canada tried, and many times before in the past, to run a line through Canada, pipelines, but it would cost them huge amounts of money in order to do it. And it's not that they can't do it, they can. It would just be so costly, because they gave it a name too. It was something like that. It's a wall between West Canada and East Canada, and because of this, it was easier to run their pipelines through America and then back up into Ottawa and all of them, Quebec, all of them areas up there, which is where, I guess, where the main government is in Canada and the major populations. So here you are with a country that's trying to do business with America, and America's trying to do business with them, and we're providing them running a pipeline through America so that they can get their oil from one side of their country to the other for the people who need it. Now, this is something I got to find out too, but I know here in the state of Maine, where I live, the rules have always been, I guess it's even in our Maine Constitution from what I understand, but if you run anything through the state of Maine, the law is, I don't care if you're running natural gas, if you're running oil, if you're running water, you have got to tee it off and put some of it in the state of Maine. You can't run something through Maine without Maine benefiting from it. Now, there may be a limit amount, I don't know, but you can't run anything through Maine without Mainers being able to tap into it, especially if it's a natural resource like oil or natural gas. So, this pipeline that's going through Michigan, I'm going to have to do some research today and find out, but I wonder if some of that oil goes into Michigan. I've got a funny feeling that it doesn't. Maybe Michigan doesn't have the same kind of laws that we have here. Maybe Michigan said, yeah, it's okay, just run your line through here and don't worry about it. And if that is the case, that they're running it through Michigan, but they're not letting the state of Michigan have any of it, that's really playing in our favor when it comes to this trade war. And again, this goes along with what I was saying in yesterday's video about Canada and the government of Canada. Now, on one side of the coin, I can understand when Canada does anything, they're going to look out for Canada. They're not going to look out for America. They're not going to look out for you, me, anybody. They're going to look out for themselves, just like America should. That's what we should do. We should be looking out for us. Yet, we're allowing them to run a pipeline for their most important natural resource, which is oil. We're allowing them to run that pipeline through our country so that they can get what they need to keep producing and keep going along. You know, it's awful hard to have a society without gas and oil, you know, especially when you've got it in your own country, but you can't get it to everywhere you need. So you ask your next door neighbor to help you out, and they do. So now Trump goes to a meeting with them, and they're saying, well, we want to come up with a new deal. We want to try to do something different. And then they go through all of the getting everybody together. They get in the meeting and they start talking and they start hashing stuff out. And when it gets to the final hour, Carney decides, no, that's it, we're done. We ain't talking anymore. They're done. And the point that this woman was making in her video yesterday that I watched, if the information that she had in this video was correct, and I think it is, what he did was he came to the table and had an opportunity to make things cheaper and better for both countries. Business would have flowed even more, and products would have been cheaper for the American people, and it would have been cheaper for the Canadian people. But for some strange reason, the offer that was on the table, he turned around and walked away from. He had an opportunity to make a deal and make things cheaper for Americans and for Canadians, for his own people. If his intention was to look out for Canada, if I was the Prime Minister, the first thing I would say was, okay, hey, if we do this deal, my country is going to be able to get food or get oil or get whatever they're getting from America cheaper. It'll save my Canadian people money every time they go to the store or to the gas pump or to the whatever, right? I know it's not gas, but you know what I mean. Whatever the products are that Canada is getting from us, they can get it cheaper. And he walked away from it. Well, if his whole point was to, get Trump to come down on prices and negotiate and make things cheaper for his own people in his own country, what the hell did he turn around and walk away for? That doesn't make any economic sense at all. And if you're watching this, and if you're from Canada, please explain this to me. In your own home, if someone came to your front door and said, hey, I want to do business with you, and right now you're currently buying this, and you're paying this much for it. But if you and I make a deal, you and everybody in your home here can buy this same product for so much less. We can save you money so you can put more into savings. Would you turn around and walk away? Now, it isn't like this hasn't happened before. I've heard of people getting into deals with people and they didn't like the deal, so they didn't take it. But that was because, well, to accept something here, something else in the deal is a really bad thing. If they could remove the bad thing, then we'll agree with the deal. But as long as you got that bad thing in there, even though this part of it over here will make things better for me, this here is going to make things even worse for me. So get that worse out of there, then I'll make the deal with you. That I can understand. But from what I got out of this information yesterday, that's not what it was at all. Everything in this deal that America offered Canada, there wasn't anything in there where Canada was going to have to bend over and take it in the ass. At no point. Everything in the deal was basically to help Canada get lower prices, cheaper product, or cheaper costs on the products and stuff that they're getting from America. And vice versa. When they sell stuff to us, the tariff could have gone down, and he not only chose to walk away from the deal, but he walked away knowing that Trump would probably get pissed off at him because he didn't take a excellent deal, and that Trump would retaliate by going up on tariffs. I mean, everything that the man did, he walked into a meeting basically saying, hey, let's make a deal. And then right when one of the best deals that Canada could ever get, no, I don't want it, turned around and walked out. And then did you notice what he did? The minute that he got his negotiators out of the meeting, within 1 hour to 2 hours of him getting his negotiators out of that meeting, he gets right out in front of the cameras and saying, that awful, terrible, horrible Trump, he was trying to give us something that we didn't want, and it was this and it was that. But when you look at the details of the deal, what the heck was in there that was so terrible? What was so awful? I don't know. But I guarantee you, if you dig into it, there wasn't anything in the deal that Canada was going to lose on. It was a deal for everybody to be able to move forward from this whole foolishness that they've been in. Well then, as I continued to watch this video, the information that I got from it, again, if it is true, this, as I just read to you, it goes even higher than this. As far as it had nothing to do with the tariffs. It had nothing to do with anything that they were trying to do in the deal. What this person thought in this video, their opinion was, Carney basically got in touch with Trump and said, hey, let's make a deal. We got to try to do something. We got to try to do something here. Let's get a deal so we can save each other money. So Trump's like, okay, if that's what you want, I'll send my negotiators, you send yours. They'll have a meeting, and let's see what kind of deal we can get going here. So they get together, and right at the last minute, Carney says, no, we don't want no deal, see you later. We're out of there. Then comes up with this stupid harebrained excuse as to why he couldn't do it, and then gets in front of the cameras. And it makes Trump look bad because he's saying, well, they attacked us. They hurt us. How is offering you a deal that would make your country's economics better when you're hurting really bad? Why would anyone walk away from it? Well, it's because he had a whole other plan, so that he could get in front of the cameras and say that Trump and his deal was so awful and horrible, and it makes Trump look bad. Now you got midterms coming in. How many days is it now? We're almost into September here. September, October, November. So we've only got, 60, 70 days left? And by doing this, it's going to keep everything all stirred up. And everything is all blah. And that's what he wanted. That's exactly what he wanted. Because by doing this, not only is it causing this big hoopla in the media, and the mainstream media can go crazy with this, here's more reason to hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. That's all they've been tooting for the last 10 years. Hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. Then, with all of this going on, it gets everybody that's spending money all on a worry, what's going on here, what's going to happen. It hurts everything, and they know it. They know it. This was like strategically dropping a bomb and hitting their target and exploding it and blowing it up. And this is probably going to hurt Trump in the midterms. I'm not going to deny it. This was a calculated move. This is exactly what they're doing. Excuse me, there's no question in my mind, this is exactly what this trade war, as far as Canada is concerned, is all about. Trump is on the up and up. He's trying to make a deal and trying to make it so that business between America and Canada can continue and both sides benefit somehow, some way. And everybody comes away from the table with something. And Canada refused it. They didn't take it. So, again, with what I said in yesterday's video, it is what it is, and there's nothing that we're going to be able to do to change it. But this is something that I've learned about how world economics works and how it can be used, because, again, there's a video that I watched and the information that was in it, and if it's correct, and the reason I tend to believe that it is correct is because it makes sense. It makes total and complete sense. Usually, a lie don't make sense. But this makes total and complete sense, so therefore, I'm going to assume, until I find information that contradicts it and proves it wrong, I'm going to assume that this is correct information. Canada, along with a lot of other countries, they like that globalist idea. They like the idea of the whole world being one thing and there are no borders. And there's just this one government somewhere on the planet that's going to run everything. They love that idea. There's nothing more appealing to these power-hungry, greedy type of people. And I do believe that, I don't know if Carney himself, I don't know, but he's definitely part of that system, and he doesn't want that system to go away. And ever since Donald Trump has come into office, this is something that I do know about him, because all of the right-wing talking heads have been talking about it for at least 6 or 7 years, if not the full 10 since he came into office. But Trump saw exactly what was going on in the world, and this globalist idea that had been happening all around the world. Remember how you heard about Bill Gates and the Rockefellers and all of these other people that wanted a one world government, a one thing system? Well, there's a lot of them that still want that. And Trump saw this and knew that this is what they were trying to do. So when he came into office, he wanted to focus on fixing all of the things that were broken here in America. And there's still a lot of things broken that he can't get fixed, even though he's trying like hell. And in this second term, his first term, he got some stuff done, but it really wasn't a lot pertaining to this globalist versus, I don't know what this system is that Trump's, I don't know what they call it, but it's not the globalist idea. I'm assuming whatever this idea is that Trump has, it's more of a system where each individual country is its own country. You're independent, and you do what you do, and you work with the rest of the world. You don't have this Adolf Hitler idea of one country that's going to control the entire world. No, each country controls their own country. They have their own laws, their own beliefs. And by doing that, you're going to make an economy better globally if you all learn to work together. If you try to do this globalist stuff, it's not going to work out good for you or me. It's better off. That's why I see Trump's idea as a better idea. This is why I've supported the man. I haven't totally understood everything, but what little bit I do understand of his ideas, this is why I support him. I'm not going to sit here and talk about how he combs his hair or what color his skin is. You people that sit there and do that, I don't even know what the hell you do it for. I mean, it don't make any sense. It don't make any sense. How Trump combs his hair or the way it looks or the color of his skin, if he's orange or if he's blue or red or whatever the hell color you think he is. What the hell does that have to do with what happened with this trade deal? It had nothing to do with it. Everything that does have to do with it is what's right for America and what's wrong. And what Canada, I shouldn't say the Canadian people, but the Canadian leaders that are in bed with these people that want globalism going on, those are the bad people. I hope Canadian people see this. Because, see, this was why I was kind of talking yesterday about why don't Canada become part of America? And there was this gentleman that left a comment, basically called me a moron, and I didn't know what I was talking about. Maybe he's right. Maybe he's right. I'm not a professional of any of this. I'm just looking at reports, taking what information I can gather, and then form my own opinion. And my opinion is right now, Canada, you've got people running your government that are running it wrong. And if they're not going to run things right, well, that's bad for you, the Canadian citizen. Because you have a country, you have your beliefs, you have your traditions that you want to conserve. But if your leaders in your government are wanting this globalism foolishness, then your Canadian traditions and stuff that you believe in, you might as well set them right out with the garbage, because that's what your government's doing to you. That's why you should be listening to Donald Trump and what he's saying. If you want Canada to be a good, independent country, I think the country could... All right, I'm going to get a little off track here, but it was a long time ago, and I was seeing this woman. And her father, when I met her and we started dating, her father had just passed away. And his wishes was, when I die, he wanted to be cremated, and he wanted his ashes spread at this campground that was up in, what was the name of the town up there? Lockport? And we, at the time, my girlfriend and her 3 daughters, we all got together and got onto a boat that goes out of Bar Harbor and goes up to Yarmouth. Takes 3 hours, I think, or 4 hours or something on that boat. Then once we got there in Yarmouth, then we went 6 hours into Canada to this town called Lockport. And I've got to say it, my God, what a beautiful campground it was. And I've got to say it, you Canadian people, you're amazing. You are simply amazing. I'm not just saying this because, all right, I'll describe it. When you go into this campground, it's this long dirt road, and you go way in, probably a couple of miles, I would say. I remember it took us a while to get in there, but once we got in there, there was one road. And like I said, it went for a couple miles, might even went 3 or 4 miles, but once you got all the way in there, then all of a sudden the road's just spaghettied. You had a road going this way, and you had a road going that way, and off that way, and over this way, and over that way. And no matter what one you went down, it was all people that were camping, and the majority of them were Canadian people. And it was during the summer. I think it was this time of year, like July, August when we went. The weather was beautiful. It was gorgeous. And I've got to say it, when we finally got to where this man's camp was, where he wanted his ashes spread, like I said, there was roads that came out of there and went to all these other ones, and you could just take a walk, and there would be someone with a camper or their tents or whatever, and as you're walking by, you're like, "Hi, how are you today?" and they'd offer you food or something to drink, or, "Hi, how are you? Where are you from?" And the small talk. I mean, it was like this. It was the greatest time I ever had, even though we were going there on a sad note. This man had passed away. And I came up and I enjoyed your culture. I saw your culture. And it's amazing. It's amazing. I've never seen anything like it. and such friendly people, and just, it made you feel like you belonged there. I can't describe it any other way. Now, you get the general idea of what I experienced and what I got from Canada and the Canadian thing. I guess that's what you want to call it, the it factor, right? Well, now that I know that this Carney guy is doing something so that he can keep trying to undermine what you Canadians absolutely deserve, being Canadians and your traditions and your everything. This guy is not trying to help you. I can tell you right now, he's not trying to help you at all with what he's doing. That's my opinion. That's my opinion. Based on this information that I found yesterday. And there is so much more. I could go on, I know, for another hour. I'm not going to. I'm not going to drive you nuts. But I want everybody to know that this trade deal, including you Canadians, if you're watching this, that this trade deal had nothing to do with trade. That was the last thing on your leaders' minds. Trump's mind is on getting trade right and making it right so that we can coexist. And you can be Canada and we can be America and we can work together and get along. There shouldn't be any problems. And I got to be honest with you, blaming it on Trump, I can't see it. I can't see where Trump is hurting. He's trying to help, and it's your own leaders that are trying to undermine everything and make it worse for you instead of trying to help you. That's the whole point. This is what makes Donald Trump a good leader. He's looking out for what you Canadians want, and that's what he's trying to do. Make it so you can have what you want. And I checked some numbers. You guys have got high unemployment right now. It's over 6%. And now, with what your leader is doing, he's going to make that even worse by making the decision that he did, by walking away from a deal that could have sparked your economy and got things going for you. And it's really something you need to think about if you're from Canada. I know one thing, now remembering that trip I took and went up to that campground and everything, I want to come back someday. I absolutely want to come back someday. I think about it. Look at me. You can see it. It's real. It's a real smile. I never enjoyed myself so much on a trip, even though I went because we were basically burying someone. My girlfriend and their whole family, they loved this man. And from what they told me, the stories they shared, one evening I remember we were all just sitting around a campfire that was up there, and they were telling stories about this gentleman. And I never met him. I never knew him. But after listening to all of them stories, I sure wish I had. And I believe either him or his family had migrated from Canada many years ago and came down here to Maine. And that's why they had a campground up there. He owned it. I think he actually had bought the property, and this family owned that property that was up there. And after I went up and got a taste of it, I can see why. I can see why anybody would love to go to Canada. It's beautiful. And something else I noticed, here in Maine, all we've got is spruce trees. It's all spruce. Here and there you see some pine, and there are some places where you might get some pine trees. But up there in that town, Lockport, it was nothing but pine trees. I didn't see any spruce. It was all pine. It made such an impression, you can see. And it made a really good impression on me. It's amazing. But anyways, I guess I've oh my God, I've gone on for 34 minutes. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go quite this long. So how about I end it right here. If I can get any more information, I may do another video on this tomorrow. I might. Unless something else comes up more important, because there really hasn't been a whole lot in the news other than, yes, and God bless her, she's up there flying now, Dolly Parton. If anybody in that family sees this video, which I'm sure you won't, but if you do, I pass my condolences to the entire Parton family. God bless her, boy, she's up there flying. All right. This is going to be the end of the video. I'm done rambling on. I want you guys to have a great Wednesday, August 26, 2026. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and definitely leave a comment. Leave a comment. I want to, especially if you're from Canada, I want to hear from you. And I know a lot of you are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. You have every right to disagree with me. And there's going to be some of you, I think, that might agree. But we're all in this together. And let's all try to work together. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. So don't forget, like, share, and subscribe. And that's it for today. We'll catch you in the next one tomorrow. Take care. We be gone.